No issues. My side.
So hi everybody. I'm Malvika Jaggi, and I'm representing Global Linker, which, for those of you who don't know, is an SME networking platform with over 3 lakh plus SMEs across the globe. So let me tell you a little about why we started this Global Linker Growth Talks initiative. So honestly, growth never takes place by mere chance, right? It is the result of various forces coming together. And through this particular initiative, we're trying to bring together the forces of industry specialists and domain experts so that they can share their practical knowledge, tips with all the SMEs present with us. So today we have with us Mr. AVPS Chakravarti. He is an evangelist of packaging who has been awarded as the most influential leader in this segment. So Mr. Chakravarti AVPS is the global ambassador of World Packaging Organization, which is an apex body constituting of 58 countries. He also is the managing director at EcoBliss India, which is an internationally renowned company for its packaging innovations. So with a strong penchant and a deep knowledge in the pharmaceutical packaging, he is also an honorary advisor and director on board for Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council, the Government of India. So Mr. Chakravarti sincerely believes that packaging matters for the entire world, and he has won various awards in this domain. And I personally can't wait to hear all the knowledge that he's going to impart to us today. So let me just invite him to this webinar so that all of us can gain from all the knowledge and experiences that he's going to share. Hello, Mr. Chakravarti.
Hello, Malvika. So nice.
I'm so glad you could join.
Thank you very much for that introduction. And well, you all know what kind of situation we are in today. So this clearly, I think, since in my room I'm alone, I can remove this mask for you.
So over to you totally. I'm sure the audience is waiting to learn from all the tips that you've already shared in the past with them. But then hearing it live from you is what makes the difference.
Yeah, when you said the audience is going to learn something from me, that is a little bit embarrassing for me. But I always believe that it's a continuous education, and knowledge sharing is a great tool, knowing from each other. And even this, I consider it is as an interactive platform today. Though you have mentioned, of course, you insisted that packaging tips for the pharma packaging. It's not actually going to be a tips. We know each other from people, and whatever questions they're going to ask, probably with my experience, I will try to address them as well. Before that, as we already discussed, I try to present a brief scenario, what the situation we are in, and pharmaceutical packaging specific. And currently what's happening and what are the expectations of the future, what are the precautions we need to take, and then there have been a lot of issues and the challenges, how we are going to face them collectively, sharing our wisdom and knowledge together. I think I try to address this in a brief presentation format. Maybe it might go for half an hour or so, and then I'm open to some questions from the audience, August audience as well. Try to interact with them as much as possible.
But sure. So to all the audience who's actually there, they can send in their questions in the Q&A chat box, or there is another chat as well where we'll be taking up the questions in the end, 15 to 20 minutes. So please start pouring in the questions just when he's talking as well.
Well, so thank you very much once again, Malvika, you and Global Linker in particular, for this wonderful opportunity for me to interact again with the global community of pharmaceutical stakeholders. Firstly, I wish all my friends across the world connected to the industry, their families and all, safe stay, and hopefully everyone will be out of this pandemic very soon. That's an optimism we all keep ourselves. Nevertheless, we must keep the protocols of the COVID. We must respect it. We cannot ignore it. We cannot be ignorant. That's why we are saying today, um, worldwide, the cases are rising, the mutations are rising, and second wave, people say it's much more fastly spreading across the world. And so all that we can do is wait for maximum number of people getting vaccinated. And in the meanwhile, follow all the precautions, go out only if it is required, work from home as much as possible. And even at your work, you follow the safe distance and wear face mask intelligently, and follow hand wash, everything. I think all of us are aware, but sometimes we are ignorant, and that's only costing very dearly, all of us. I'm trying to remind all my friends, let's follow this and keep ourselves safe, and get out of this pandemic very soon. So coming to the topic, pharmaceutical packaging, how different it is from any packaging, basically. See, all the packagings, before instead of addressing basics, they they give you some kind of a feel and desire to buy the product by just visualizing the packaging, etc. Of course, be it pharmaceutical or a non-pharmaceutical product, the primary aim is to safeguard and protect the product throughout its shelf life. But there, in food or any other cosmetics or electronics or entertainment or any other sector, so why it is different is there is a desire to buy. But do you have a desire to buy medicines? No one has. So unless there is a requirement, right? Unless your doctor prescribes you to use the medicines, you're going to buy. So that is the basic difference. It's the consumer, while consumer is common, your consumer will be treated as in most cases as patient, not the exact consumer. Of course, things are changing because we are getting more and more into preventive Medicare rather than a cure. So here also we have all the kind of characters deriving out of the packaging as well, how pharmaceutical packaging is useful in the mankind. Anyhow, let's go to the presentation and then we talk more on this. Let me share this. Well, again, when you said it's packaging tips, when you said it is packaging tips for pharma products, it's still okay. Let it be called packaging tips for pharma products. And as I was telling you, the situation we are in, we are not in normal situation, my dear friends. We are completely in a new normal, and we are getting used to this kind of a new normal now because coronavirus, COVID-19 has become part of our life almost since a year. The industry is really witnessing a wave of disruption, and world is really upside down. But we have to really cope up with this scenario. We never anticipated this would happen, but it has happened. Yeah, we can't help. That's life. The COVID-19 pandemic really threw at us the unprecedented challenges for sure. But one thing we must be happy. It has given the industry, the pharma industry, to serve the mankind and to serve the society. And it has given us an opportunity to rise to the occasion. That's what we are in for the last 1 year, whether it is in lockdown or unlockdown, semi-lockdown situations also. We are all working around the clock, ensuring the uninterrupted supply of the first line of defense medicines or up to the vaccines to the people across the globe. I think India is the generic capital of the world, and now the vaccine capital of the world, also being the producer of almost 60% of the vaccines that are produced worldwide. And what is happening on this background? See, obviously the physical interactions with doctors and patients decreases. No one wants to go and visit a physician so often like we were doing it earlier. But thanks to the advanced technologies, the internet is available with a high bandwidth that everywhere, and we are making use of the online consultations, proper consultations, supported by the scientific diagnostic reports also. It's not just seeing each other digitally, but also compiling with the respective diagnostics reports also. And then the doctor can actually prescribe you and give you the medicines and allow you to go under medication. So in literal terms, you are getting the whole pharmacy online at your doorstep, and the digital doctor availability has become more and more common nowadays. Well, this statement, I coined it a couple of years ago. I think now it has become so relevant under the current pandemic conditions. When I was giving this statement, packaging will be your second physician. Initially, many people thought, yeah, how relevant it is. No, but slowly people started realizing its importance, how packaging can help you to become a second physician. After all, the final contact between the drug or the medicine, what you're going to take, and you, that is patient, is nothing but packaging. There is nobody else in between. There is no nurse, the health worker, doctor, or the factory which produces the drugs, or the guy, the pharmacist who sells your drugs. So ultimately, in your hand, only the packaging. That's the final contact.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chakravarti,
Yeah.
there is somebody in the audience who is saying the audio is slightly muffled. If you can come slightly, probably a little more closer, it should be a little more audible. Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to do that. Yeah. Am I audible clearly now?
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll try to come closer to that because I'm not using any headphones. So I'll try to come closer to the system and all. So as I was telling you, basically, we are talking about how packaging can help you to become a second physician in the absence of the doctor and the pharmacist consultancies in physical. So, when you are talking about pharmaceutical packaging, there are the horizon of packagings, which eventually we can discuss the whole range of primary packaging, secondary packaging, tertiary packaging. At the end of the day, all these packagings are there to protect your, safeguard your product and protect the products throughout its supply chain to safeguard the drug efficacy also. And at the same time, now we are getting into the situation wherein the drugs are used for accessing, the packaging is used for accessing the drugs in a proper format, and the patient taking the medication in a dosing format, etc. Whatever the requirements are suggested by the physician. So packaging is an enabling tool to get into all those things. As I was mentioning to you, what pharmaceutical packaging has to really do. It should enable, well, the person, it has to go to the right person, it has to take into the consideration the person and what kind of dose he or she has to take it, and what is the medication basically, what's the medication, and then the route is nothing but a conduit, and then the time when you are wanting to take that, and what is the strength of the medicine, what kind of, is it a 500 mg or a 250 mg as prescribed by your doctor, Are you going to take one tablet in the morning or one tablet in the evening? And that is called dose pack and dose monitoring also, which your packaging is supposed to do, which was not originally the prime objective of packaging. As I was mentioning to you, the prime objective was always to protect the medicine throughout its supply chain gamut, to keep up the drug efficacy. Now, the more and more requirements have come in with the changing world and changing requirements, changing demands, and of course the documentation also. So the packaging has to enable all these factors in a right manner. And as we are discussing, the design should enable us to really prevent the medication errors as well. Look at it, the pharmaceutical packaging market today, the delivery mode, $90.23 billion in 2019, and we expect it to, in fact, it's very conservative expectations. I'm sure it is going to go much beyond these figures, $150 billion by 2027. The world market of packaging itself is close to 1 trillion. It's reeling around 900 billion, all put together. And you can see the pharmaceutical is around 10% of it, 10 to 12% of it. Well, when we are talking, it's always good to know what was happening in the past and what is the situation we are in today. And then what is going to be the future. So in a lighter vein, I try to bring in a scenario with few pictograms, and then we come into the subject straight away. Remember, maybe a century ago or 150 years ago, the first motor car, the Ford motor car on the left side, you can see, it resembles a normal rig, a man in the current scenario. That used to be the first motor car. And today you have a state-of-the-art, very high-end luxury cars with a complete automation. All these big brands, why even the local brands like Tata and all, they are building for the world. And tomorrow, what is going to be? So you are going to have a complete robotic cars. We already witnessing the driverless cars completely enabled by IoT. So yeah, it's a matter of time. We are going to witness this in the coming days or coming years. And the first motorcycle used to be a small moped, heavily. And in the current scenario, you have very high-end, powerful bikes which can take you 500 kilometers per hour. And well, soon we are going to see the flycycle. It's not a bicycle or it's not a cycle. Or, yeah, you can fly around, and to beat the traffic in the countries, only thing is you need to get the license for this. But in some formats, it's already tested in some countries. Let's see whether it is going to be practical in the coming years. And the healthcare, you can see right from the traditional healthcare for those days, and we come into the very advanced stage. And today, that reminds me, in my childhood, the longevity, you can say the shelf life of a person used to be around 60 years or so. Now the aging population is going up across the world thanks to the advancements in the medical technology that really helped us to combat those chronic diseases. And then, of course, that's always debatable. So should we succumb to the chronic diseases, or should we fight the chronic diseases and then extend our lifespan? But currently, name anything, for everything you have a medication, for everything you have a cure. So that is how the healthcare is evolving. And in the future, you can see complete digital electronics and digital medication is going to dominate, as we are discussing before. You hardly are going to see your physician in person. So everything will be analyzed, screened, and we are talking about cell therapy and gene therapy. And complete personalized medication is going to be the order of the day. You will be given, you are not going to buy your medicines in a pharmacy, whether it is physical or or e-tailing mode, but you will be actually given the right kind of medicines to suit your body, and after studying next 10-15 years what you are going to be there, how you are going to be there. In some countries it's already mapped, your your body situation and health situation is completely scanned and mapped, just like our Aadhaar card, our credentials. So your health credentials are also mapped. So it's only a matter of time. The worldwide, the personalized medication is going to be the order of the day. And when you see the roads, you see in the good olden days when we are using the animals as a quick mode of transport. Those days, horses and camels, and now you have state-of-the-art high-speed highways across the world. Even in India, you come across. But in the future, this is going to be the order, and you have a completely driverless vehicles going on, and you don't need to really refill your gas for the cars, and they get charged automatically. In fact, and they not only get charged, they will produce electricity also while flying on the road, these special digital roads. I think the days are going to change. And the food, which is very close to my heart, it's never changed. Only its shape and size and aesthetics will change, but the ingredients mostly remain the same. But you can see even 100 years ago, the food and the current food also is one and the same. Only thing is the presentation and the recipes are changing, but the man has a never-ending appetite. So that is for sure. So can you imagine if you say that you can kill your appetite and you won't be no longer hungry by just having a capsule like this? I don't think I will accept this. Definitely, I'm not. Even if someone says that you won't be hungry, this is enough so that you can skip your breakfast or lunch. I'm not going to have this, certainly. And dressing, you can see how the traditional dresses and today the very informal and very casual way. And it's becoming very common. The CEOs wear the t-shirts and going into their workplaces, and people are not really minding. Earlier, there used to be a dress sense unless you follow the strict protocol with a bow or a tie, with a well-polished shoe, all these things. And today, what matters is the subject you are going to deliver. Right? It's not really the presentation of your object. Of course, it matters, but it really it is going to the behind the screen, I can say. So in the future, you don't need to change the clothes very often. After all, the smart clothes of the future, they wash themselves, they clean themselves. You don't need to really worry about changing your clothes. And the cities, the ancient cities, we know the civilization of Nile and Arabic civilization, and the cities built those days, be it in India, Egypt, Europe, or USA, anywhere. And today, the state-of-the-art cities. And tomorrow, yeah, why not? You might be having space cities. Some people are already booking their space in the yet to be built space cities in the future, and which might happen. And the relations, they used to be very traditional, and today, fastly, the arranged marriages are on the wane, and people finding each other partner and then knowing each other, and people who never met tomorrow, that's the art of the day. I think all these arranged marriages might be on the complete wane. We'll see. So that's how the things are changing. If you really come into the subject right now, how it was and how it is and how it will be. Yeah, I'm going to take a very brief walkthrough how the medication, I mean, how it started actually. You know, even in our olden days mythology, we learned how Ayurveda and all, how the medications were prepared for days and days together. They used to get the ingredients from the remote forest and mixing those ingredients in proper formats. people like Charak Sanhita and other people, they used to make the medicines in a very traditional manner. And yeah, the first official pharmacopoeia was issued in Germany way back in 1546. You can see on the right side the pharmacopoeia initiation.
Your voice is again not clear.
Okay.
I think you'll have to come a little more towards the system.
Okay. Okay. So in 1668, Frederick Jacob Merck has purchased a public pharmacy those days. And then birth of aspirin took place in 19th century. You know, aspirin made the world history later on. And so this is how I was explaining to you how the medicines used to be manufactured. Everything used to be in solutions and liquids, and the ingredients were mixed to meet various requirements of the medications those days. Well, this was a revolution. The first oral contraceptive pill dispenser was discovered way back in 1962, and of course, to get the patent, he really struggled. But the traditional bottles used to have their own limitations. So to combat this, especially on the contraceptive, the birth of modern day compliance packaging. That's how it is originated in 1962 in Organon Laboratories in Holland. Began the development of this particular compliance packaging of a 22 tablet regimen. And well, as you all know, this is the beginning of the compliance regimen packaging. The maximum patient reliability through a pharmaceutical packaging. It was achieved when each new cycle of tablets began and ended on the same day of the week. And if the last tablet was taken on a Friday, the first tablet from the next package would be taken on the next Friday. That's how the pharmaceutical packaging relevance has come into the fore those days. And rest is history. In fact, the birth of unit dose at the time in 1974, this prototype model, I was told, is still running at, and it has become an industry standard. The first unit dose machine was discovered by Harry Van Beek. And in present circumstances, you have pharmaceutical packages to meet the needs of each and every segment. We are seeing, of course, be it vials and the prefilled syringes, state-of-the-art self-administered medications, and the vaccines, the vials and bottles, injections, and you have the host of the product information leaflets coming along with that. And when you have a combination of drugs needs to be taken, and you have a specialty blister packagings. And on the right side, you can witness this dose package regimen. This is what people used to struggle a few decades ago. Even now, one can agree with me. When you take the first medicine of the day, it is always a matter of fact. We forget whether we're taking the medicine or not. We tend to take second time, or then we skip it. So this kind of dose packs will eliminate. This is a kind of dose pack. Of course, it's a generic wholesale pharma wallet, we call. And very often, the pharmacists have the habit of taking the folding carton, the printed carton, and they end up giving us only that aluminum blister strip to us. And it so happens that we can't read what exactly the drug's name and what is the strength on the backside, the print on the aluminum and all. So to combat these problems and to address those challenges, these kind of wallets have come in, because they provide you the increased brand awareness, the patient compliance, and actually they engage the patient right from the word go, from the very first medication to the last medication. And also sometimes we have the child resistant claims also. Well, it's Alec Bliss. Of course, it looks like aluminum. People are trying to go more into the monomers right now. for all the high efficacious drugs, you ought to have the combination of the aluminum with the PVDC or PVC or aluminum. So on the sustainability front, enough efforts are happening to make it complete a monomer, homogeneous material, at safeguard the drug in the future. So what's trending today? This is one very close to my heart. That goes in the design, development, and the blisters. They took it in such a way that it reaches the patient in a right way, with the braille also for the blind people to able to read it. And this one, you have the unit dose, the child resistance blister packs. You can the peel push kind of a thing. It has become common in certain drugs. This is another one. Now in today's situation, self-administering is becoming very common. State of the art pre-filled syringes, and in fact, you can have the vial injection and also the alcohol swab, etc., in the same pack, in the combination pack, and one can self-administer, or in the hospitals. The entire pack is together. You have the information also. And as we are discussing, always keep medication and instructions very handy, so that, and this is another format of a unit dose. Simply you can fold it back and pour that suspension into your ingest. This is another protection packaging, anti-counterfeit, safeguard your brand image, and also increase the brand recalls. Well, when we are talking about the innovations and all, the self-dose patient-controlled injectors, they have made our life much easier when compared to the past. We used to struggle to administer those insulation doses, and today it's no longer happening. And even the application of it is developed by GSK. When you have, you all might have encountered this problem whenever you want to apply a paint bomb on your body somewhere. Half of it will go onto your fingers, and then you soil your fingers. You have to really wash your hands immediately. But this preempts those efforts, and simply you can apply uniformly on the affected area and just withdraw it without even soiling your hands. This is another packaging innovation. And there's a combination of label and cap. It's also one kind of protecting you. And this is what I was also talking. Look at it, the plight of the diabetic patient those days. Go from several shots a day to an insulin delivery solution to apply like a patch, and it takes care on its own. You don't need to really worry about it. And when you apply a patch, when you need to take the breakfast, lunch, and snack time, dinner time, it actually takes care of the drug delivery on its own, and it completely eliminates the need of multiple daily injections. Imagine a patient, how much he was suffering, and today, and what is his plight, thanks to the pharmaceutical packaging innovations. Holograms, advanced holograms are coming in the, and this is a simple innovation, but yet you see the conical bottom of the glass vials. So sometimes the expensive drugs, some of the drug remains at the bottom due to the surface tension and other things. And here in this kind of a vial, the last drop can be accessed by virtue of its design. And we all know, we heard about the child resistance packaging requirements, especially in the US and regulatory markets. Certain kind of drugs come under this category. You ought to pack them in the child resistance. We come across various child resistance packs, like the calendar packs, and then the aluminum, the peel push packs, and you have variant requirements. There is F1, F2, F3. There is a prescribed requirements, And this is one which holds the highest child resistance packaging requirement. You have a tray, and the provision is you can have multiple blisters so that you can have a doses for a month or something like that within the pack. While the child is almost difficult, rather it's completely difficult to open. And the important thing for any child resistance packaging is, end of the day, it has to be useful to the patient. So if the regular patient also with arthritic hands or a senior citizen, if he's unable to open the pack, the purpose is defeated. But at the same time, we cannot have a child to open it, because today's children are very smart enough. They are really opening and tearing of the packages, and accidentally ingesting these medicines, which is dangerous to their health. I think packaging comes to their rescue, such kind of packaging. So this is one such packaging. And another one, this is also, I like it very much. You might have seen, even in your homes or in your childhood, several times we try to take the bitter medicines, and then the moms used to struggle, and they used to pamper you with something else to enable you to take the medicines. But here, the medicinal straws invention is such that the medicine is already pre-packed in the straw itself, the amount of medicine it has to be taken. And all that you need to do is ask your child to have his favorite beverage or drink, or not suddenly cola, but maybe some other beverages or something like milk or something, as the case may be. But use this straw while taking that liquid. So while the child takes that, automatically the bitter medicine also goes into him without even he knowing it. This is another invention, but it's not for very high efficacious drugs, but definitely for sure the inventions will go on in the future to take care of that aspect also. While this, we know that the alerts, the dose alerts and other things, reminder pack, pill reminder pack. This is one in the new kid on the block, Persist Alert. And you have an app which enables you, unless you open your particular medication, be it a box or a bottle or in any other format, you practically, the alert will come. The beep is such a horrible beep. You cannot put it off. Even if you want to switch off your phone also, it won't switch off. The app is designed in such a way. And then you need to take it closer to the pack in open condition, with the assumption that the patient, once he opens, he takes that medication. Once it opens, it stimulates that, and the beep will stop. So this is another great form of a pill reminder. And this is a pharmacy-based packages. Very often, we know the senior citizens or people with chronic diseases are prescribed with different combination of medicines, maybe painkillers and antibiotics, to be made simpler, but not so simple. And many times we tend to forget how many doses we have taken, how many days we have taken properly. To eliminate that completely, the pharmacies, what they will do, in the pharmacy itself, they will pack the different kind of medicines what you're supposed to take for that particular dose in a pocket in the blister, and they seal it. Of course, this doesn't safeguard the efficacy of the drugs for a longer time, but definitely for a shorter period of time, 15 days or 1 month, this is adequate. So this is another format of dose adherence. Like every packaging design shall be patient-centric. This is the key we talk about. And look at it. The Amazon is going to deliver you complete personalized medicines or your requirements, everything written in your name, and totally customized. So this is going to happen. And as I was telling you, people are looking for the sustainable aspects also, because the separating aluminum and plastic is getting difficult. But end of the day, to safeguard the efficacy, that combination was required. So enough efforts are happening to eliminate the aluminum from that to make a monomer packaging. In some parts, it's already available, but enough research is happening to to meet the requirements for highly efficacious drugs also. And smart medication monitoring systems, I don't need to tell today how much the digital technology is introduced into our lives, same into the pharmaceutical packaging also. And once upon a time, even to buy a simple RFID tag, we used to spend a dollar or so. And today's scenario, a product worth $1, we can have an RFID of a few cents. So that is how it changed. The same way the mobile phones innovation, how the prices have dropped down. So NFC near field communication also, advanced NFCs are in the anvil, and these are really helping the patient adherence and compliance in a way. Like I was saying, the smart packaging, even without opening, you can actually see the level, how much medication is still there, and counting or medical prescription, everything you can read it from outside. And the smart pill bottles, they have become order of the day today. You can actually see the history of the patient, how he has taken, and automatically tracks the doses, and it gives you reminders. And if you, by mistake, if you are doing any double doses, it gives you alerts, and it makes your life simple, because in everyday life, we often get these problems, and the packaging comes to your rescue. Well, augmented reality, the Internet of Things we are talking about, they are very much into our daily lives. In the future, we really do not know. If somebody asks, how do you want your product without packaging, people say, but which is not simply possible, because packaging has its role to play. But nevertheless, the kind of the digital technology coming into our lives, they are going to change completely. And tomorrow your medicines are going to speak to you, and in a virtual assistant is come to you. You don't need to call somebody, you don't need to call that the pharmacy or a doctor. All that it will be done is your packaging alone will speak to you when you have to take, what kind of problem you have, and it can actually take your feedback and send it back to the system, the healthcare system. And based on that, again, the diagnostics, and they will suggest you what to do, and all the doses, everything. You don't need to really worry about it. The kind of digital technology we are in, you can see the augmented reality. This is on a prototype, but I'm pretty sure in the future it's going to become common.
My name is Nora. I'm a registered dietitian, and I am here to welcome you to True Life Supplements.
That's it. In fact, a virtual assistant is really mimicking a doctor or a healthcare worker for you. And she's going to tell you what medicines you have to take, what position you are in, and our life will be very comfortable. You don't need to really read that ineligible the micro text on the labels. She's going to tell you, interact with you. When you ask a question, she is going to reply to you. And I think that is how the technology is emerging and intruding into our lives. Only thing is how mankind is taking all that into positive way and using that in our daily lives. So let us celebrate being a part of the packaging community in the current scenario. I'm sure in the future, we come across all the problems with technology helping us in the entire space. The pharmaceutical landscape in particular, we are talking about. And we always say that better quality of life through better packaging for more people. And as Malvika was saying, you can always reach me or an email whenever you have some kind of the queries. We can always interact in the future, certainly. So I'm open to interact with you at this moment. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was wonderful. I mean, really insightful. You showed us what the future has in store for us. So we already are getting a lot of questions from the audience. Let me pick up a few and ask you. So what are the usual issues related to pharmaceutical packaging and what will be the impact? This has been asked by Mr. Anil Kumar.
Well, when we are talking about issues, that is umpteen. So all my pharmaceutical friends know the problems of the issues people face in their daily life. See, many times these issues appear to be very simple in nature, and sometimes they are laughable. The errors are so minute, and we get a feeling that do they really matter? And at the same time, do they really happen? But let me tell you, these issues and these errors are enough, adequate to pull down a company. And you know, the cost of non-compliance we are talking about, the product recalls we are talking about, several of my friends keep telling me there are more than 20% of the product recalls, especially from the regulatory markets, appear to be very, very silly. A missing of a small text, the wrong packaging, sometimes has such a adverse effect in the labeling errors, becoming nightmares also. But as I was already telling, this could happen in several ways. For example, the child resistance. We might be thinking that that particular packaging is child resistant, but the requirement might be something else because the level of child resistance what the FDA was seeking might be different. So there were instances the product recalls, the entire containers were brought back. And look at it, even in the hormone blisters also, we saw the blister packs, how it was done. For example, all the women must be knowing the 28 days course and 91 days course and all. You know, the strength of the medication varies from the first week to last week, okay? Imagine if she takes the last week medication in the first week and the first week medication in the last week, I think it appeared to be a small problem. Can you imagine the adverse impact of it? And do you believe that this has happened? And it has happened just because the orientation of the blister was altered by mistake. So obviously the last week medication is coming to the first week, and only when the patients get noticed, then only we notice, and the entire product, the whole batch, few containers were to be called back. It's not the question of how much it is costing the company and all, how much the load it is coming onto the healthcare system, the insurance system. So these labeling issues, mix-up issues, though where they are very, very small. For example, the product mix, the strength, mix of the strength, counts, usages, dosage instructions. These are all maybe small problems. I think these must be addressed in a proper manner, as we are talking about even on in the product shop floor also. A simple foreign matter, be a hair or a piece of insect falling onto the primary packaging, and it is noticed at the customer end. And we might think these are very small, but pharmaceutical packaging, you can never take this risk. The contamination is the last thing you can afford to have. And it has a serious impact on the health of the people, and you're going to get major insurance calls. Of course, the waste is your image will be lost, and forget about that. Impact on profit anyhow would be there. So people will have to be alert on all such things. These are all the usual issues you're going to face.
Right. Sure. So moving on to the next question, Mr. Umang Shah, he has asked, as regulatory will be stringent going forward, what are all the major changes that you expect in the next couple of years for pharma packaging?
Well, this is a little, it's an elaborate, in fact, this question itself needs an exclusive webinar. So as the requirements are changing and the customer demands are changing, why regulations are changing? Regulations are probably they are only helping us. Many a times we think that why the regulations are in place. If they are not there, our life would be easy. We'll be producing the drugs in a better way. We'll be taking the drugs in a better packaging, in a better way, and which is wrong. The thing is, you need to have that penchant and the patience to access, to understand those complex regulatory requirements and practice them to the fullest spirit. And then your life will be easy. For example, the primary packaging is as good as your basic product. The product, whatever the GMP calls, drug master file you maintain, the GMP you maintain, it is as good as that, because the primary packaging is coming into contact of the complex molecule and highly efficacious drugs. So any compromise in the material construction of your packaging, any compromise in the design of the packaging, which has to enable your patient to access the drug and compatibility, etc. These are all great problems. Several times my friends keep telling, at an outset, the bottle looks very nice, very strong and pack worthy, etc. And the same bottle is made of layers, and the leaching and the problem in the layers and all. It reacts with the complex drug inside. Only the high-end tests only will eliminate the usage of the wrong bottles or their primary bottles. I think we are talking about the material construction. Such areas also, the stability tests need to be in the full spirit in the pharma packaging, and that goes to the primary packaging. But in a similar way, you need to take care of all other requirements also for the secondary and the tertiary packaging, which help your supply chain to take drugs forward to the patient ultimately.
So there is a lady, Harshita, she's asking you about your views on design thinking in packaging.
Well, design thinking, it appears a little complex, but at the same time, one must agree. I strongly believe design thinking should be there in every format, whether it is a product or product packaging or whatsoever. See, as I was telling you in the beginning of my presentation, the pharmaceutical packaging always was required to address only to protect the product, right? Throughout its supply chain, throughout its lifespan. So to keep up the drug efficacy. Well, that is still there. There is no change in it. But as the time passes on, as the world is changing, and we are moving into more into user-centric and personalized focus, the design has to have, and the molecules are getting highly sensitive and potent also, unlike in the past. So the design has to consider all those elements right in the beginning. So at one point of time, around 30, 40 years ago, people never used to think about packaging while during the R&D stage of developing a molecule or developing a product. And now even you are asked to submit the right kind of the end packaging, what kind of packaging you are going to use while you are submitting ANDA, people call ANDA, abbreviated natural drug for the US market and other things. During the exhibit batches itself, you have to declare what kind of packaging you're going to envisage for that particular product. So transforming that user friendliness in the design thinking and how they adhere to the technical specifications also to address the multiple user groups. And again, you must not forget the same drug is going to be used in several geographical areas, and people have different cultures, the people different habits, the different ages and their languages, the ability to access the drug, etc. Can you imagine all these factors have to be kept in mind while designing your packaging itself? So that is the order of the day. And so today, designing of the product and designing the packaging both happen at the same time.
Right, wonderful. So moving on to the next question. Mr. Nikhil has asked, what is the role of packaging in pandemic times? You already elaborated on future trends in pharma packaging space in your presentation, but could you throw some light on the role of packaging in pandemic times?
Well, Malavika, this is where I keep telling every packaging professional should be proud of what he is doing currently. So earlier, it's a little bit of emotion I keep saying. Once upon a time, the packaging profession was never regarded as a respectable profession. People used to say, okay, packaging, or dabba banate kya? That's in typical Hindi for all the overseas listeners. So people make boxes, that is packaging. So their understanding is limited to that. So today, packaging has gone into multiple segments, multiple areas, and 90% of the products what you have in the market, they lose their the ability, they lose their existence without a proper packaging. That is the kind of packaging. And I would like you to recall my statement, the packaging will be your second physician. And in fact, today the packaging is your second physician. So how it is going to help, as we already see in the augmented reality, the small clip of video we saw, how it is going to change. The smart and intelligent, and the packaging is going to help you have the accurate dosing. Dose monitoring also happens, and child resistance, what I just told you, that is happening. And packaging in a nutshell is just not to protect, but to provide a complete the host of additional features. So you can also see the medical devices, the self-administered devices. In the COVID-19 also, there is a study going on. You can actually inhale the, I don't say vaccine, the medicine through inhaler. And to combat the COVID, the Israeli firm is already doing that. The remdesivir, which is a popular injection, people are taking it. That can be inhaled also. I think that is in the phase 2 approvals now. It is going to happen also. Even the smart inhalers, do you know, the inhaler is no longer, a common man inhaler is always a inhaler when you get cold or something like that. But the inhalers have several usages now. The smart inhaler will enable you to take the drug in a drug delivery in a distributed format, and it actually records how many times you have taken the medicine, etc. The smart inhalers are on the anvil. As I told you, the packaging is going to speak to you, listen to you, and take the feedback and correct the system. The interactive packaging will be having new dimensions. Some you don't even believe that this is going to happen in the future, and this is going to happen in the future definitely. So that is the order of the day for the future, especially in the COVID-19 pandemic. Pandemic days, packaging has a huge role to play to support the mankind across the world. One must be proud of all that what is being used in the package. In fact, if you have time for a couple of minutes, I would also like to extend this. You might have heard transdermal patches, the simple patch, okay? So far, this transdermal patches were limited to the geriatric, the pain relief medicines, which have a little lesser efficacy compared to the high-end, high-sensitive molecules and all. But now I'm told sufficient research is happening in this space also, so that you don't really need to worry. You just simply paste the patch on your shoulder or some affected area on your body, and rest of the work it will do on itself. You don't even need to remember how much doses you have taken, when you need to take. So that packaging will do all the transdermal patches will do all that. And also you might have come across the ODF. ODF is nothing but oral dissolvable films. Simply, you might have come across the regular mouth freshener, okay, in the form of films.
Yeah.
So enough research is happening now to induce the medicines also, to get the medicines also in the ODF format. So obviously, if the medicine is in that format with the flavor what you like, along with that, you simply take that small film and take it on your tongue, and it's easy. Life will be easy. So in the future, the drug deliveries are happening in so much advanced condition. Wearable medical devices will be order of the day, and implanted medical devices also. These are going to for regulated drug delivery. They will take care of when the drug, how much drug has to be given to the affected person, that's the patient. So the packaging will do the entire job. You don't need to worry about it at all.
Right.
So it is unimaginable. Even for me, it's always good to update my the knowledge quotient, interacting with stalwarts in the industry regularly in different fora, and then get amazed and then feel proud in this pharmaceutical packaging landscape, looking at the advancements, the way they are happening around the world.
Wonderful. We've also learned a lot in just half an hour or so. We're running out of time, but I'll take one last question, and then all of the others can be answered on email separately.
Sure, definitely.
So I'm just taking, there's a person called Mr. Raj who's asked, what is your message for pharmaceutical packaging professionals?
Yeah, I think messages will be too big for me. Of course, I'm there in this business for a longer time. That doesn't mean that I'm eligible to give messages, but I always tend to rather wish to take messages from the community. But only thing is, hold your now. I can say today it's the testing time for all of us. I'm going a little away from the pharmaceutical packaging, but in this pandemic scenario, let us not be ignorant and let us be very play safe under these conditions. We definitely not get contracted with this COVID. Only thing is, it is a matter of few months away from that. Apart from that, all of you agree the pandemic is really transitioning from, initially it started like a health issue. Okay, Malavika?
Yeah.
So now that health issue has become an economic issue. Countries are suffering. In fact, across the globe, all the countries are suffering.
Yes.
And now it is going to become the humanitarian issue also. And it is intruded into the lives of all the families. And then it is shattering all the dreams of the people, the total scenario. So all that we need is a little patience and the care what we are supposed to take. And coming to the pharmaceutical packaging also, I request all my fellow professionals, all the stakeholders in this, because end of the day, pharmaceutical industry is a life-saving and life-sustaining industry. In all other industries, there could be some compromises. All that the customer will have an impact is maybe a little loss to him by virtue of a wrong product. Okay, he can throw it away. Financially, he might lose or something like that. But in the pharmaceutical field, it is not like that.
Right.
If the product is not properly taken, if the product is not properly ingested, it might lead to some injuries, sometimes even deaths also. So it throws big challenges, not only to the customer or the patient, but the whole healthcare system, the whole economy of the country and the world by way. So let us be very transparent and open, and let us agree. If you have any issues in the system and all, okay, you might be reprimanded momentarily, but it is better to preempt if you notice any problem in the system while manufacturing, while packing, while sending. Let us not hide it from your management. Let us not hide it from your customer also. If you want to recall your product, there are several instances we already seen. The companies recall the products, the self recalls. Yeah. Even your patient won't. We only heard the automotive recalls, but in pharmaceutical also there are several recalls. Post production, if they find some mistakes in the batches, definitely they are going to recall. But this has to become a common phenomenon all over, and definitely the customer trust is more important for anybody. So one has to constantly work on this. you have to balance the regulatory requirement and respect the compliance issues. And if you are really complying to the requirements, keeping your customer and patient at the focus completely while manufacturing your drug and packaging, the user convenience, and like in the article I said, the pharmaceutical packaging is really moving towards the user convenience. So earlier it was not like that. So one has to keep all these things in mind. Be brave and be transparent, be sportive, and the future will be ours. And we are going to have a smooth pandemic-free world very soon. And wishing you all the very best. And thank you very much for this once again, for all the people who logged in and watching this across the world. And I love to interact with all of you. And thanks, Malavika and the Global Linker, for this opportunity once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chakravarti. It was such an honor having you. And you touched upon such an interesting topic and gave your insights that we still have questions coming in. I think I'll address them personally with you and get back to all the SMEs. To all the SMEs and the audience, anybody who has a question can drop me an email. My colleague has put in my email ID in the chat box, as well as you can log on to Global Linker, and there is a community for packaging and pharma packaging. So you can join that and ask your questions there as well. I'll have Mr. Chakravarti answer them. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Chakravarti. Thank you to all the members who joined in.
Thank you.
Thank you.